So this next gentleman that I'm going to introduce you to is Jeff Hayzlett. Does anybody know Jeff? Yeah, a lot of you do, of course. He's got such a huge global following. If you fly United or some of the airlines, you'll see him on there. And Jeff and I met how long ago? Not quite. I think it was about a decade ago. So my first major book deal, I was on McGraw-Hill, and we had the same literary agent, Wendy Keller. If you can imagine your stereotypical ballbuster, New York publishing agent, that's who she was. She was a force of nature, and she hammered us both out some great deals. We both became New York Times bestselling authors right around the same time, which was really cool. Jeff is the former CMO of Kodak. He was on the board of directors to DocuSign. He's CEO of C-Suite Network, of which I happen to be on that network for our podcast. And how many of you have podcasts or content that you put out or shows? Okay, decent chunk of you. Fantastic. Well, get ready to take some copious notes. One of the most impressive people I know. Oh, and one more thing I have to tell you guys, too, is one of the way in the early days, we vetted Jeff to be on our board of directors. And in the end, we had a difference of opinion of the direction of the company, and so we didn't go with Jeff. But that was really my bad, because he would have come on board, he would have seen it my way, and then we probably would have had a 10x higher exit than we had. So anyways, that was a business regret of mine. But my dear friend, please welcome Jeffrey Hayzlett. Thank you, amigo. All right, bro.
Hey. It is great to be here. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Sometimes that happens. I serve on about 12 corporate boards a day, 4 of them publicly traded companies. And who knows what we would have done with that company. And we look at these things. Now, let me just get this out of the way. I just want to say a couple of things with you. I'm from South Dakota. Anyone here from South Dakota? Never is, but I always like to ask that. That's one of the things. But we'll cover some accolades. We'll cover some of these things you see from most of the people that are here. But to be with you and to be here for a week, which is almost unheard of in the kind of world that I live in, to take that much time. But it means a lot to me. But it reminds me the first time I met my wife's great-grandmother. Now, some of you have met my wife. My wife is 5'1", 105 pounds. I'm 6'3", 200 and some odd pounds. And Grandma Agnes is 4'11", maybe weighs 90 pounds. And when I first met her, she looked up at me, and she looked at Tammy, and she looked way up at me, and she looked at Tammy, and then she looked way up at me, and she turned back to Tammy and said, "Isn't he bigger than necessary?" And so I feel like that even to this day. So to be with you. Let me cover you a couple of things, if I can, to give you some background. I'm a former Fortune 100 officer. I've met most of you in the room. My last company was $185 billion. I managed a marketing and sales budget of over $17 billion with over 7,500 marketing people in that company. I left that, went on and did the show Celebrity Apprentice with Donald Trump. I was a judge on that show for 3 years, came up with the show, called him, said we should do the show. So I just want to get that out of the way. He's a friend of mine, but he is batshit crazy, clearly. I now have to call all my businesses and friends in Canada and say on behalf of the United States of America, I'd like to apologize for our president. So, and then I went on and did a show on Bloomberg, which was a primetime television show, the #1 show on business. Now, that says something, but at the same time, when was the last time you rushed home to watch a primetime show? It doesn't happen. And during that time period that I was doing that show, I started watching my numbers online. And as I watched my numbers online, I had more people watching me online than were watching through broadcast. So I wanted to be able to come here today, and Daven said, hey, come talk. We put Daven's show on our network. And I just want to be able to tell you how important these kinds of groups are. You don't even know sometimes who's sitting next to you. And I'm just totally impressed by the people that are here and who I'm meeting. I'm literally having 20 meetings a day, one after another. I come to the sessions, and then after that I have meeting. I'm not even doing the excursions because I'm meeting such great people. I mean, I don't know, where's Michael Turpin? Michael's in this room somewhere. I met Michael back in like 2006. I remember he was doing the PR stuff at the time. And he told me about this thing called Bitcoin. I should get into it. I think it was trading at 20. He says 200. And I said, Michael, that shit's never going to fly. And I passed on it. And now Michael picked me up at an airport in the Rolls Royce that he's driving. And then, of course, he's pulling a Bentley behind it as his spare car. I mean, so it gives you an idea. And he's going to be up. You get a chance to meet, as David Fagan with the work that he does and sees, you get to meet some really great companies. Now, Daven mentioned that I used to be on the board of directors for DocuSign. And of course, I saw DocuSign at a small little gathering much like this and said, whoa, this is going to be an unbelievable company. Immediately said, I want to invest. Immediately said, I want to be involved. Went on the board. And if you know, we took that company public for $21 billion. And hey, not bad. Now, where's Randy Tate? I think Randy's in this room. Randy, stand up. Stand up. If you want to see what a unicorn looks like, that is one. That is one. And I actually met some others as well. Randy runs a company called iFlip Invest. I'm on his board. I'm a lead investor on this board. I'm raising millions and millions of dollars for him. We're adding millions of dollars a day to the platform. It's amazing. It's an AI investment. That's going to be my next one that I will retire from the board. And so it's just great to be here. Now, at the same time, I'm telling you, I'm seeing other things, new trends. And I'm here to give a gift, and that gift is pay attention to the way that media is changing. This has become the most personal device in the history of the world, and that's your cell phone. It used to be your card, and now it's your cell phone. Think about it. If you lost your phone in the mall with your kids, which one would you go looking for first? Woman over there is going, well, if I find my phone, I can call the kids. Right? And so it's changing the nature of the way that media is done. Now, media has always worked in such a way that says that I'm going to go out and create this community of people, and I'm going to do that through content, and the content's always been about advertising. But now, because of social media and the way in which we have these devices, it is now becoming about how to become a content creator. Now, whether you do that on a stage, which is great, fantastic. I'm in the Speaking Hall of Fame. I do 300 some keynotes a year. It's got me to where I'm at. Forbes magazine once put me on there and called me the celebrity CMO right on the front cover of the magazine because of the speaking, the TV and everything. It is changing the way that we're doing business. And I want to talk to you about the number one rule for today's talk. If I say the word podcast, I also mean television. Because podcast is TV now. If you do a podcast, you can record that with video. It becomes TV, but you must know one magic number. Would you like that number? Yes. Repeat after me. 24. 24. Louder. 24. 24. Louder. 24. That is the magic number. What do I mean by that? If you want to have a show that you create a piece of content on podcast, it needs to be 24 minutes. Why? Because that's the way television works. And you can say, I like short form, I like long form. I do not give a shit. The people that own TV control what it is. And that is 24 minutes. Got it? If you want an hour-long show, because this is the way it works in a half an hour. So if this is the clock and it looked like this, it's 2 minutes of content, 8 minutes, 2 minutes, 8 minutes, 2 minutes, 8 minutes. That's it. That's the way it works. And if you want an hour-long show, it is 48 minutes, 2 times the money. You get it? That's it. That's how simple this is. 38% of the people who create and do a podcast today never make it past the 10th episode. Of that, 48% that are left over never make it past the first year. Right now, today on our network, and we have 350,000 executives. We do well over 600 meetings. We have 500 podcasts, adding 15 podcasts a day. And we have 78 TV shows. By this time next year, I will be at this cruise and I will be celebrating because I intend to be the world's largest business media network. Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. You've all seen the hockey stick of growth. I've always been down here at the handle, but now I'm at the toe. I'm at the tip of the stick. And so what we're doing is we are looking for people who want to do a podcast/TV show, and then we distribute it. We put it on over 1,900 engines. We put it out to TV. We also made deals with broadcast. If you happen to watch, if you fly home on United Airlines turn, you'll see that we are the business network on United Airlines, and my show is the longest running show on United and has been for over 10 years. And there's not a day that doesn't go by that someone doesn't write to me and say, I'd like to do business with you. That's what drives. You have to have content. Content drives your community. Your community drives your commerce. That is the way it works today. And so you have to become the expert. When we did DocuSign, I said, we have to become the leader of a category. And the CEO at the time said, what's the category? I said, it's going to be document transactional management. He says, what is that? I said, whatever the fuck we tell people it is. Okay? You create the category, you become the leaders. And this is not a game anymore about eyeballs and ears. Now, I know we all like the clicks and we like the likes, but it doesn't mean shit. That's the old game. The new game is about hearts and minds. To build a community that wants to do business with you because they like your content. Not that they like your picture, they like this thing, but they absorb your content, you build that community, and you will build business. And so it's not about you needing 20,000 listens, you just need the right 20. Or the right 50 or the right 200, and do it in a way in a community. The average business podcast or average person listens to 5 podcasts per week, 5 shows, and 8 episodes. You've got to be in that mix. And if you're out there thinking you're going to go out and put your show out there on all the other engines that are out there and knock yourself out, you're going to be lost in what we call podcast purgatory. There are 650,000 podcasts in North America alone. And there's going to be millions more. There are going to be millions of stations. There are going to be millions of TV shows. And you've got to build your community. If you are a dry cleaner in St. Louis, there are 119 other dry cleaners in St. Louis. And the only way to get noticed is to build a platform on rented land. And you buy Google ads and you buy other ads and you push and you sell and you do it, and maybe somebody will come to you. Or you become known as the doctor of spots. And you build a show. And you show people how to get blood stains out of shirts or grass stains out of jeans. And pretty soon people start to like you, and they like you more. They want to come to you because they know that you'll take care of them. That's the game that we're in. Building of hearts and minds. That's the game. Commerce is driven by a community which is driven by content. Quit putting your stuff on rented land. I am tired of giving Google money. When I was the chief marketing officer of Eastman Kodak, I used to spend $12 million a year to buy Kodak.com. We frickin' own Kodak.com. But because they would allow my competitors to outbid me, but if I had content, they couldn't do that. So now I'm building out things like C-suite loans and C-suite legal and C-suite coaching and C-suite this. And I'm going to build C-suite cologne, the smell of success. All right? So our number one rule, podcast is TV. And I want to do a show with you. I want to be able to do something that we can build together and stand up here next year and celebrate. And Daven and I are going to do some great things. I am so impressed by what I've seen in the way in which the people that are here. It's amazing to be able to bring great people and trusted community, right? In fact, the new currency moving forward is trust. Because you want to be able to know it's your circles, it's your tribes, it's the people that you get with. And there's so many great people and so many great leaders that are out here that are building those tribes and want to be a part of it. I'm going to stick around right after everybody else is done. I'll be down here on the stage if you want to come visit with me. My number, my actual cell phone number is in there, okay, in the book. You can text me, but get a hold of me. I'm moving fast. I'm on the road 260 days a year. I am out doing roadshow. I call it the Go Big Roadshow is what I'm calling it, because it's time for us to go big, and I want a show. Let me leave you with this one last story, because I think it's apropos for the group that's here. A number of years ago, I got my start very early. I started public speaking when I was 26, and I used to hang out with Zig Ziglar and Brian Tracy and Skip Ross and Bill Brooks, and some people you know and some you don't know, and I got to know all these great people. But before that started, I went to a small little Lutheran school in Sioux Falls, South Dakota called Augustana College, 2,000 students. But it was well known because we had this lecture circuit that was worldwide. And we had some of the greatest speakers come and speak on our campus, and I was the guy in charge when they came to the campus. And so I got to take them around and got to meet them. One of the best jobs I ever had, Margaret Thatcher, Mikhail Gorbachev, Ralph Nader. I picked up Ralph Nader at the airport in a 1976 Ford Pinto. He would not get in the car. For those of you who are older that are laughing and you're sitting next to someone that's younger that doesn't have a frickin' clue what I just talked about, please explain that at the break. Would you do that? Elie Wiesel, Ambassador Andrew Young. And then I had my hero, Jacques Cousteau. I picked him up at the airport. He said he wanted to go for dinner. I took him to dinner. And I'm sitting there. We had one bottle of wine because he's French. And then we had another because I wasn't legal. And it was good. But he regaled me with story after story, as you can only imagine. Now, you got to think about this. This is my hero, Jacques Cousteau. I mean, when I was a kid, you remember Sunday you'd watch TV in the U.S. and it would be the Wonderful World of Disney, followed by Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Then the Undersea Adventures of Jacques Cousteau. And here I was having dinner with my hero. Because I used to watch television. I used to wear one of those red stocking caps just like him. And my dad would let me stay up because 9 o'clock was my bedtime, and that's when the show would come on. But I was the oldest, and I'd beg him, I'd do anything. I'll be good all week. I'll help. I'll do whatever I can. And he would let me stay up, and my brothers and sisters had to go to bed. And I'm with my hero. And he starts telling me about this one story where he was down deep underwater, diving. And some of you are scuba divers, so you know this. And the further you get down, the deeper you are, the more pressure. And when you come up, you have to come up in stages or you'll get what they call the bends. And he knew that by looking at his watch how much time he had left for his dive and so forth. So he came out of this underwater cave. And as he came out of the cave, he scraped the top and cut a hole in his air hose. And what little air he had went and it was gone. And he knew that he had to swim as fast as he could because he had no more air and he couldn't stop. And he knew that he was probably going to get the bends, which is probably one of the most painful things I can't even imagine. But they say it's like cutting your insides out with razor blades. And then they put you in a parabolic chamber and then they turn on all these valves and you might survive. And even if you do, it's painful. And all of that shot through his head like that. But in that one brief second, he started swimming as fast as he could to the very top. And out of nowhere, one of his swimming buddies grabbed him, turned him around, and he took his, whatever that is. Thank you. You got it. Thank you. And he gave it to Jacques, and Jacques started to breathe in. Of course, he survived because, he's telling me the story. And I turned to him, I said, Mr. Cousteau, weren't you scared? Weren't you petrified? And he turned to me, and this is what he said. Jeffrey, one should never be scared when you're in good company. The journey that many of you are going to go on, this entrepreneurial journey, the business that you do, many people say, well, Jeff, what is your plan? What was your plan? Are you kidding me? There is no plan other than to go. Go. And we talk about this all the time. It's important for us to fail fast. Bullshit. Failing sucks. It's important for you to win fast. Win fast. But I want you to look around you at what Daven has put together in this room. You look next to the left, you look to the right, you look behind you, look in front. You are in great company. And I thank you for having me, and I'll see you with those crews.
Wonderful. Jeffrey Hayzlett.